Hi, welcome to Redmen TV. I'm Chloe Bloxham and this is the Liverpool News Update Show. And there is a bit of news, surprisingly. There has been a very boring international break for me. I don't know about you, if you cared about any of the games being played, but I really didn't. But thankfully, we have had some news in the last 24 hours that I can at least be distracted by whilst the footy in life is just crap in general without the Reds playing. And we'll get straight into it. And from the title, you can probably tell exactly what it is. And that is because yesterday, Christian Falk, along with, and I'm going to bring up this because I'm not going to be able to say his second name. I'm going to go with Toby, and the rest of you can see his last name, and you can tell me exactly what that says. They came out with a tweet, Christian Falk did, but added Toby in it, and said, FC Liverpool is interested in Jamal Musiala of Bayern Munich. His agents are currently not talking to the club about extending his contract till 2026 with Bayern. And we all know Christian Falk. We all enjoy a bit of Christian Falk and his news. He's quite reliable, and so is Toby. So I am quietly excited about this. Do I think this is going to happen? No. Because it's very hard to get carried away, and it's been an international break. So people might just be getting, they haven't got the clicks in or whatever, and might just be putting this stuff out. But also, the reason I'm not sold, I'm sold about the idea of Jamal Musiala, I'm just not sold on the fact that it's going to happen, is because he plays for Bayern. And Bayern, I don't know whether anyone else realised, but they're an extremely good team. We did just get Ryan Gravenberch from them, but he wasn't getting in the team. Jamal Musiala is the future of Bayern Munich, and someone's going to have to pay extremely big money to take him away from there. But we will talk about everything that's happened. Since then, a lad who some of these may like and some of these may not, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Liverpool's interest in the Bundesliga star, who is worth more than €100 million. That is an insane amount of money, but we were willing to pay 115, 110 even, on Moises Caicedo, and I think Jamal Musiala is quadruple the player that Moises Caicedo is. So, you just never know with Liverpool, and potentially they've done this thing where if there's a player that they really want, they do go for them. But Fabrizio Romano has insisted it will not just be Liverpool interested in Bayern Munich's attacker Jamal Musiala this summer if he becomes available. There's a big if in there, but also it's not rocket science. He's one of the best youngsters out there. I saw someone with a tweet the other day, and I wish I could bring it up and credit them. And it was that scene from Toy Story where whoever it is throws away the toy and says, "I'm done playing with you." And it was Jude Bellingham's face on it, because it's now all attention to Jamal Musiala. I found it quite funny, I did. Salah was linked with a move to Saudi Arabia side Al Ittihad in the summer transfer window, but the Reds stood strong over their stance that he wasn't for sale. The Saudi Pro League outfitted an offer of $150 million to take Salah to the Middle East, and there's already speculation that they will try again over the next couple of windows in an effort to make him the poster boy of the league. And this might be where you get your money. Is Jamal Musiala a right winger? I'm going to be able to do Salah's role? Not in my eyes, but he is a generational talent, and I used that word sparingly. I think him alongside Jude Bellingham are the next best of the next 10 years in midfield. We obviously know that we've had a decent relationship with Bayern Munich. We obviously took Ryan Gravenberch from them. They took Sadio Mane from us, and we took Thiago Alcantara from them in the last several years, and by several it's about 4, but that's okay. So, we've got a decent connection with the Bundesliga champions, and obviously Leroy Sané was another name that was thrown out maybe only 48 hours ago that Liverpool might be interested in him. Now, he is a right winger. He would potentially fit the profile to maybe replace Salah. I don't think you can actually replace the lad. But he's a right winger and he's 27, and I didn't see that happening. And I'm more excited about the prospect of Jamal Musiala, if I'm being honest. Younger, and will be available for longer. Musiala played for both Southampton and Chelsea academies and was linked with a move to Anfield yesterday as Sport Bild journalist Christian Falk said that Liverpool are interested. The German journalist added that Musiala's agents are currently not talking to the club about extending his contract, which expires at the end of the 25-26 campaign. And here's the problem. He obviously plays for the German national team, so I don't understand why he'd want to leave Germany, why he'd want to leave Bayern Munich. So, you know, I expect him to maybe probably sign another contract and stay there. But if Liverpool are lingering about and, you know, I don't want to say Bayern Munich are on decline, they're not. But when I look at the Champions League, they're not the team that I feared when we played them at, obviously, their ground and we beat them 3-1, I think it was. It wasn't, you know, when they came to Anfield and Kimmich went mad over a 0-0 draw at Anfield and we went over there and we literally done them in and ended up winning the Champions League that year. I don't fear them as much as I did then. For whatever reason, maybe, you know, they're obviously without some big players. Manuel Neuer, I think, is coming back, but he decided to go on a ski trip, which I don't know how he's been allowed to do that as a professional football player, but he did. He got really injured, didn't he? They're obviously without Lewandowski as well. Muller's towards the tail end of his career. I think they've got De Ligt, who, you know, time ago I thought was unbelievable. Now, he's a decent footballer, but I'm past the idea of really, really thinking he's brilliant. And look, they've got some brilliant players. Alphonso Davies and that. Kimmich, love him as a footballer. Would love him to play for Liverpool. Goretzka, brilliant player. But at the same time, I don't think they're the same giant that they were several seasons ago. But let's get your take on it, Wood. I mean, first of all, I think everyone's answer is yes, you'd take Jamal Musiala. What kind of role would you see him doing though? Because we have just signed McAllister, Sobbo and Gravenberch. Does anyone, how much would you pay for Jamal Musiala? Because, let's be honest, he's incredible. Matty's put, here's an idea, why not spend 60 to 70 mil on a DM that we should have done in the summer? Believe it or not, I think we'll spend about 30 and it'll be on Andre. So that's probably why, lad. Just a thought. We did try and spend 60 to 70. In fact, we spent more than that. We tried to bring in a midfielder called Caicedo for 110. We did try. We just didn't do it because he went to Chelsea. He decided to go elsewhere. And then instead, we've looked at Andre, who we wanted before Caicedo, but wasn't available because the Copa Libertadores thing, and Andre wouldn't disrespect Fluminense, and rightfully so, because they're now in a final and he gets to play in the final of that and try and be a hero for that team. And I think we always had our eye on him for January, whether we signed Caicedo or not, to be perfectly honest. But we did try, and I believe we will buy a DM. I don't think he'll be worth 60 or 70 though. And Stephen has replied, well done Stephen, if we get Andre we won't need to spend that much on a DM. Problem is we need another defender too, and that is the thing. Hincape, I want to say his name is, that's a player who we have also been linked with. But yeah, if we buy Andre, there's no way he's 60 to 70 mil. I think he's probably 40 maximum. And that was with the idea that, you know, we'd be luring him away before the Copa Libertadores started. So, you know, we've not, and hopefully that means we could get him for cheaper. Welsh Roadrunner, as Paul, Musiala would be an immense signing, happily spend 100 mil on him. But as everyone says, the DM is surely the priority. Andre through the door, please. And here's the thing though, if Andre comes in for 25, 30 mil, by offloading the players who we will be offloading next year and their wages, it probably means that, you know, you could spend that amount of money. I personally think we need a DM. You probably need a backup DM. I don't know what we're doing with Endo. I'd love to know, but I just don't. And you most definitely need a centre-back. You might need right-back cover either, to be honest, because sadly, Calvin Ramsey's been injured a fair amount. Connor Bradley is been injured since, you know, he was brilliant when he was on loan, but since coming back, he's picked up a couple of injuries, and we've seen what happens when Trent is not in the squad. So yeah, look, there is other areas, but us being linked to generational players like this is only good news for me. Hopefully, it does mean. I mean, it doesn't mean we're going to go for him, but at least it means we are interested and we're one of the clubs. Romano has dampened expectation a little bit and excitement, because he said that Chelsea, Manchester City and clubs in Spain are also interested in him. I'm assuming the clubs in Spain would be Barca and Real Madrid. Real Madrid do not need any more midfielders, and if you're getting Musiala, give me Valverde, please. Just go for it. Do that for me. So, we know that there is a lot of teams interested in Musiala, and his contract is due in 2026. We are only in 2023. But at the moment, there's no agreement with Bayern over a new deal. So maybe that plays into, our favour, into Manchester City's favour, Chelsea's. If any of them get him, I will be gutted. He's a boss player, and I'm fine with him playing in the Spanish league. I'm fine with him playing in the Bundesliga. But if he played for a rival and was up against Liverpool, I'd absolutely hate that. There are people now in charge at Bayern, so the timing of new people, in charge at Bayern. So the timing of the contract talks changed, and there are now still no talks because of the change at the top of the club. Still for Bayern, it is absolute priority to keep Musiala because they know the interests from other clubs. Liverpool have been linked with Musiala, but trust me, it would not just be Liverpool. There are many important clubs around Europe keeping an eye on Musiala. Jurgen Klopp knows the player's talent very well, but also people at Chelsea, Manchester City and clubs in Spain, because he's one of the best young talents in world football. So this is normal. It's not about negotiating. It's just about following a top young player. In my personal opinion, he's worth more than 100 mil. I'd compare him to Jude Bellingham, a generational talent. So of course, Bayern absolutely plan to extend his contract, and they would also try with Leroy Sané and Alphonso Davies. It's complicated, but still on. So yeah, I mean, do what you will with that news. I'm perfectly fine with Liverpool keeping tabs on him. It just means that if an opportunity did arise, hopefully we would have put in some kind of legwork to be there. But also, he's probably not going to leave Bayern, and that's sad. Someone's asked, any chance Salah extends his contract? I'd really, really hope so, but I can't say yes because I don't know. If Liverpool could offer him 2-3 years again, I don't think he'd stay for the same amount of money. I think he'd have to improve his price once again, his wages, because let's be honest, he's sound going with Saudi Arabia probably, because he then becomes the face of that entire Pro League, and that's a Salah, that's more money, and they're going to want him to be that poster boy. And I think he'd be fine with that. So I don't know. I think Liverpool would have to increase his wages, and it's if Liverpool do. What I can tell you is losing him just feels like he's irreplaceable to me at this moment in time. I can't imagine a world where we get rid of him. Like, I don't know how we'd manage to back that up, because there is no one out there who I look at and think, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind him. He could potentially reach Salah's heights one day, or he might fit the role. There is no one. I don't look at any right wingers at this moment in time and think they're good enough to come in and win things for Liverpool Football Club straight away. And they're also nowhere near, they're nowhere near Mo Salah and his level. But yeah, if Musiala is on, what happens with Carvalho then? Same type of player. Musiala is a lot better than Carvalho. A lot. And I don't mind Carvalho. I don't know how Carvalho's future is going to go. I've not been checking with the Bundesliga that much and keeping up with it. But I don't think he's played as often as a lot of us probably would have thought he would have done for Leipzig. And don't Leipzig have like Xavi Simons, who's another really good youngster? Carvalho is not on the level of Jamal Musiala. And what happens with Carvalho, I couldn't tell you because he's already been loaned out and no one really knows the reason why. We can all speculate, but we don't know why. I think he's a good young talent. I don't know where he fits in Liverpool's side in this formation that we play. He maybe could do the 8 role, but you'd really have to work on him being a box-to-box midfielder and put the effort and time into that because he is a number 10 and we don't play with a number 10. And I don't think he has enough pace for the left wing. So, you know, it is a mad one with Carvalho, but he is a youngster and he's a good footballer. So we'll soon see. And also, sometimes you buy these players, you inflate the price and then sell them again. That happens too. And maybe Carvalho is sadly just one of them players. But to be honest, I genuinely couldn't tell you. This Bellingham hype is a bit overboard. You don't want to know my thoughts then because I genuinely think he might be one of the best, if not the best midfielder in football right now. Genuinely. He is that good. His celebration is cold as well. Like, ridiculous. One of the best celebrations as well. It's sad to see. I watched England last night v Italy. Why? Because it was the only football that really was on. And I just watched him and I just thought to myself, what could have been? He is unbelievable. And sadly, I am on that hype train with him. I think he's incredible. I don't like that he is though. Because I'd like him to be that for Liverpool, and if he's not, then I don't want him to be very good. But ultimately, you've got to be honest and just say he's absolutely world class. Nathan says Bellingham is the real deal. Simple, he is. He's absolutely ridiculous. He's just, I don't understand how at 20 years old he's that good of a footballer. Like, it's just outrageous. The impact he's had on Real Madrid as well, like, that is one of the biggest clubs in world football, and he's gone there and he's their first name on the team sheet now. He is their main man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Shame we didn't get him, but as long as we never face them in the Champions League, because I don't think they'll be in the Europa League at any time, as long as we don't face them in the Champions League, then all's good, because I shouldn't have to face them or him. That's fine. Be as you are elsewhere. Don't come up against Liverpool. Anyway, another little bit on Jamal Musiala. At 20 years old, 234 days, he became the youngest player in the German national team history to reach 25 international caps, breaking Lukas Podolski's record at 20 years and 363 days. So, you know, whilst we're talking about Jude Bellingham here, Jamal Musiala is literally 20 years old and is killing football as well. I wouldn't say he's, I think he's just under Jude Bellingham, but he's an unbelievable talent, and hopefully maybe something comes about this in the future. I don't think it will, but at least it's a story that Liverpool are at least keeping tabs on him. And also Lukas Podolski, what a throwback he is. He won a World Cup, did he not? Have I made that up? He played for Arsenal as well, if it's the same lad I'm thinking of. Didn't mind him as a footballer either. But yeah, anyway, that is the news on Jamal Musiala. If you want some more stuff on him, last season in all competitions, he played 33 times as an attacking midfielder. He scored 10 goals, got 12 assists. My thing is blocking that, so I'll move that up so you can see. He then played 5 as a central midfielder and got 3 assists. He then played as a left midfielder 5 times, got 4 goals and 1 assist, and then a left winger twice, 1 goal. So he's got versatility. I'd have him as that attacking 8 role in Liverpool's side, but also apparently he's played left mid and left wing. I think we've got enough of them at the moment in time. But yeah, it just goes to show how boss he's doing. What I will say is the Bundesliga isn't the highest level, but he does it on international duty. He does it in the Champions League. So, yeah, he's a star player. Anyway, moving things back to current Liverpool players. and I'll get to some of your comments in a minute. Neil Jones has already told us all the big news on our South American sides, and that is, and don't bring this up, Aaron, because I don't think we can, basically, the lads are already on their way back, which is just brilliant news, because we all remember against Wolves where McAllister had been playing in like Bolivia like 24 to 48 hours before he kicked a football. Really good news that. But this time, they're already on their way back. I'll give you an update of what happened. 90 minutes for Alexis McAllister in Peru on Tuesday night, 90 for Luis Diaz in Ecuador, and 90 plus a goal for Darwin Núñez. Did he get an assist? I heard that he got an assist, but that's not being put here. Liverpool's South American contingent are already on their way back to the UK, but how many of them will start on the Merseyside derby this weekend? Alisson Becker was an unused sub whilst playing on international duty with Brazil. They got beat by Darwin Núñez's Uruguay. Ederson was the goalkeeper for them and letting goals, and they lost, so I don't mind that. Also, you know, I think Alisson Becker's always going to be the number one goalkeeper. We already know what Klopp thinks about 12:30 kickoffs. And he accepted he made a mistake at Wolves, didn't he, last month, by starting Alexis McAllister, who had less than 72 hours, had played a game in that Wolves game. And it was only 72 hours since he played for Argentina against Bolivia. I mean, I thought he was going to be benched that game, but he didn't. Diaz and Núñez came on in the second half of their games, and they both played a big role in the Reds' 3-1 win in that Wolves game, obviously. So we've got quite a lot of decision making. Darwin Núñez is in incredible form right now. Love that he's killing it for Uruguay. And if they're already on their way back, I'd be risking some of them. It's a derby. We do have, I don't want to say a nice fixture list coming up, but once you get over Everton, it's a fixture list you'd fancy Liverpool to do well in. And this is important because it's the derby, but also because it sets the tone for the rest of the games before the next international break. Yes, there is another international break. So this game is massively important, and I'd be risking some players. Darwin Núñez for me should start. Luis Diaz, I mean, I'm happy with him starting as well. Obviously, Diogo Jota will be back though for that game. He missed the Brighton game due to suspension. Mo Salah obviously will be there. Cody Gakpo, Liverpool are hoping he'll be available. Whether he is or not, I'm not too sure. Speaking about the derby, it just came up on my watch. I've got no idea why. So, you know, apparently there is a possibility that Diaz, who missed a penalty for Colombia against Ecuador on Tuesday night, and Núñez, who scored in both of Uruguay's World Cup qualifiers during the break, could be held in reserve, ready to change from the bench if required. We know Jurgen Klopp just loves to put out mad lineups against Everton, and if he did, it just wouldn't surprise anyone, would he? Harvey Elliott's been absolutely tearing it apart for England under 21s, hasn't he? So who knows, he might have a say in this. But anyway, as for the other players on international duty, Dominic Szoboszlai scored a goal and provided an assist as Hungary edged closer to Euro 24 qualification. They fought back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 with Lithuania. They need only a point from their last two games to make sure of their place in France. Trent was used as an unused sub as England beat Italy 3-1 at Wembley. We don't care about the other player who was in that, because I just genuinely couldn't care. Konate played well as France defeated Scotland 4-1 in a friendly in St Etienne. Wataru Endo played the full 90 as Japan beat Tunisia 2-0 as well. So basically our players have had some decent run out, some decent form in the international break, and hopefully they can bring that back to play for Liverpool. I don't know what we're going to do come the derby, because it all depends when they get back in the shape that they're back in, because of the mess up that happened with McAllister in that Wolves game. I think Jurgen Klopp will probably be a bit more, you know, probably not willing to risk it or, lob anyone in. But it's interesting to see what we do. I just want to see Darwin Núñez on the pitch, that's for sure. I'd love to see Luis Diaz. I want to see Dominic Szoboszlai. Thankfully, he's still in Europe, so it's not like he's came back from halfway across the world. I want to see him there. McAllister, after the last performance, after an international break, I don't know whether you start him. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Before I do go, Liverpool are still awaiting the results from Robertson's scan. We obviously knew that he got injured in that game against Spain. I think it was. Unai Simon just collapsed on his arm. And he did dislocate his shoulder, I think, but the scans are there to tell us if he might need an operation or not. There is I hope not, and there's no one saying that there is, but that's what they are scanning for. And let's hope he's not out long, because he's just started performing really, really well. The first game of the season he wasn't great, but since then he's really shown up for us, being our captain, stood up, and we really need him, because it's Kostas Tsimikas playing left side of a back three when in possession, and I'm not sure I'm living for that. But anyway, that has been the news update for today. There was a couple of people saying start Bajcetic. Get first quickly, if anyone wants to put in, get in your score predictions or who you'd start in the midfield and up top. I think the back five writes itself. I don't care about that. The positions in which Liverpool have to make choices are literally midfield and up top. Ed Stone's gone with a 3-1 win. Absolutely love that. Someone's put love Tsimikas. I do too, but I'm not too sure I'm loving him as a back three. In a back three. I don't know whether I like that enough. Going forward, set pieces, all of that, brilliant. Oh my God, Jason's gone with a 5-0. I'd absolutely love that. Spirit says 2-0. Let's see what else we've got. We've got 3-1 as normal. I'm not too overly confident like all of yous. I don't want to say too much. Such a shame a talent like Bellingham is in a Farmers League. Sadly, though, Real Madrid will win another 13 UCLs probably whilst he's there. So, Farmers League, but wins the biggest trophies in world football for me. So, I get what you mean, though. So, yeah, we've got some 3-1s coming in. You'll love to see it. Anyway, nice one for joining me for this. Hopefully, we'll see you back tomorrow for another one. I will not be on it. I don't know who is on it tomorrow. But other than that, we've got a massive game week this weekend, and if you just want to come and watch it with us, we will be on our watch along here. What time will the watch along start? 12:15, the watch along starts for the Merseyside derby. I'll be inside the ground. We'll come out with loads of stuff after the game as well. And also, if you want to get Oppo preview and everything like that, all of our stuff over on Redmen Plus, use the code NEWS and you'll get 50% off a monthly captain sub for your first 2 months. And trust me, we've got a lot of stuff on there. We've got stuff on Bento. We've still got the Firmino documentary if anyone wants to go and watch that. But every single week we come out with a ridiculous amount of shows, and I think you should really go over there and listen to it. And also, speaking of that Bobby Firmino lovely documentary we did, it is really close to hitting 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. And Joe, who produced the entire show, edited it, did everything, would really like to hit 200k views on that. So if you could just maybe go and click on that as well for us, help us hit 200k, we'd really appreciate it. But that's all from me. Have a boss rest of your weekend and up the Reds.
Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Redmen content, be it podcast, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boots on redmenplus.com today.